Hey guys, got something pretty cool today. This is my Gen 4 Glock 23. As you can see, it's completely flawless. Still doesn't have the best trigger in the world. I do have a 3.5 connector in there. The 3.5 connector takes the edge off. And but there's a way you can smooth things out a little bit more without destroying anything or ruining anything. I do have the Tango down slide stop in there. The only thing about the Tango down slide stop, which I think they're the best, is one little thing about them though. They're hard to get out because the hole, Tango down or Vickers Tactical, whoever drills the hole, this pin goes through that hole. Their hole's a little smaller than your average Glockmeister or stock Glock slide stop. So when you take that out, it's a bitch to get it out. You have to line it up perfect to get that pin out. So that's the hardest thing about this job is going to be, but that's it. This is it's known as a few things. It's known as the 25-cent trigger job. It's known as the cheap trigger job. All it does is it just smooths things out a little bit. It takes the edge off, gives you a nice smoother trigger pull. It doesn't really lighten it up. It might just a touch lighten it up. But all you're going to do is you're just going to buff it. You're not going to remove material. You're just shining up the parts to make them more less friction. Okay? So the first thing you're going to do, this is going to be the first time you're going to see me fully disassemble a Glock. It's not hard, but like I said, that Vickers Tactical slide stop, that thing's a bitch to get out. So that's the only thing that I see is going to be a pain in the ass. So I have my Dremel tool, and I suggest this bullet buffing head. This is the best because it can get in all little areas, and it's hard for it to stay on because it screws on. But Howard from the bunker told me to put a drop of crazy glue on the threads and just screw it on, and I think it's going to work. Thank you for that tip, Howard. And what we're going to do is, of course, the gun is safe. This is a Gen 4 Glock 23, and it's one of my most reliable guns in the safe, but I still can't shoot real accurate with it because the trigger's pretty stiff. Okay, I will repeat myself because I have a bad memory and I'm retarded. So you might hear me say the same things over again, like I have a 3.5 pound connector in here. Alright, first thing we're going to do is rack the slide, pull the trigger, and pull the slide back just about 1/4 of an inch, not even. Pull the tabs down and take off the slide. Magazine over there. Here's what we're going to be working on. We're going to be taking out the rails. We're going to be taking out the whole trigger group, and the whole thing lifts out of there. The first thing I'm going to do is take out the top pin. So I need a roll of tape because this desk is not level and it might roll off, and since I am now blind, I don't know, I turned 45 and I'm blind now, I'll never find it, okay? And then I'll get really pissed and no one will want to be around me for about 10 hours because that's how long I usually get pissed for, and it goes away. Alright, so we got 3 pins. You got 1, 2, 3, okay? The first pin, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to take out the top pin, okay? I'm just going to push that through. Alright, that pin's out. These are your 2 steel pins, the rear pin's polymer. I don't know why, but it is. I just wanted to bring something up real quick too. I didn't put them in my Glock yet, but I will. NDZ, you know this company, I've been telling you guys that sent me the Glock plate. They now have titanium pins for Glocks. You have the trigger, the slide stop pin that holds the slide stop in. The main big pin is titanium steel, and you have the pin that goes on the top, and then you have the pin that goes in the rear, and they're all titanium steel. And you can get them at NDZ Performance if you're interested. You want to get them. This way you'll never have to worry about your Glock pins breaking, especially the one in the rear. The one in the rear, after a long time, something seems to happen, and sometimes it'll break, and that'll eliminate that. Now here's the hard part, getting out this friggin' pin with this new Vickers, Tango down Vickers. It's just a real pain in the ass to get it out. So this might take me a while. So I'm not going to sit here and keep the camera on. I got to maneuver it and play around with it and finally get it out. If you have a regular Glock with a regular stock slide stop on there, you'll get it out like that, because the hole, I'll show you, the hole inside is a little bigger, gives you more room to move around. Okay, hold on, let me get this done. Alright, I finally got it. You just got to mess around with it. As you can see, the pin is coming out. I'm going to pull the pin out, and that's out. Now, the Tango down Vickers slide stop should come right out, and it will. And what I was talking about, the hole they drill must be just like 1,000 smaller than the other Glock parts. Because man, I get the other ones out in a snap. These ones are hard to get out. Make sure when you take this out, you always check the spring, make sure the crimp is still tight, because they tend to loosen up. And if it gets loose, either crimp it again or replace it. Okay, I want to get rid of that. That was the hardest part, getting that thing out of there. Okay, we got that. We got our 2 pins. Now there's one more pin we got to take out, which is in the rear. That one usually comes out very easy. You just give it a little push in the rear. This holds the trigger in, and that comes right out like that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is take out the guide rails, and they're kind of just plugged in like a receptacle. And what you could do is just get a screwdriver. It takes very, very little force to get that out. Go in this way with it, because I'm not prying on anything. Watch your ejector. Do not go near that. You change the angle on that, you're screwed. So stay away from there. You go in this way and just lift it up a little, like that. Right. Make sure you look at which way it's plugged in there, and then you just pull it out. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Need a little more help. Screwdriver. Lift it up. Lifts right up out of there. Okay. Awesome. And what goes through there is also your big pin. So your big pin goes through this, and your big pin goes through this, and it also goes through the trigger. So this is just a way you can smooth things out, make things just a little bit smoother. Now the whole trigger group will come out. So what I'll do is grab the rear, you can grab by the ejector if you want, and just lift up. Oh, it came out a little too fast, and the whole trigger system comes out. And this is all we need right here. So we're going to put that aside, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take apart, we're going to detach it from this housing, and as you can see here, I know you can't see, it says ghost.com. That's the ghost connector that's in there, and it does help. So what I'm going to do is you got to kind of twist it, like pull it forward a little, twisty cross like that, and that's it. Like that. And the first thing we're going to take out is that ghost connector, because that has to be polished too. I'm just going to put the screwdriver under it and just give it a little turn it, and pull that out. And a lot of guys are saying, and it's true sometimes, if this isn't perfectly on a 90 degree, they have trouble getting the slide on. Be careful, because if you bend it too much on a 90 degree and make it too, like I'm looking at that, that's not perfectly 90 degrees. It's going like this, and it's kind of sloping up a little, but I'm going to leave it alone, because if I try to bend that too much down, my trigger might not reset, or I won't feel my trigger reset. And you want to feel that trigger click and reset every time, especially if you use the reset system when you're shooting, which I always do with every gun I have. Okay, so mine's fine, so I'm not touching it. I'm just going to polish it. I'm going to put that right there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, well, it already came off. All right, is take it off the spring, which was right here. Now, this is your housing, I guess you would call it. You don't need to polish anything on that. We're going to put that over there. Here's the trigger bar. This is what's getting polished. I'm going to polish all the outside of this. I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to polish all in here. Especially I'm going to polish inside here. I'm going to polish this little thing that looks like a crucifix. I'm going to polish that. And definitely going to polish this part here where there's friction and both sides. The whole thing's getting polished. It's going to look like chrome when you're done. Get all the grease off it. Because if you don't get the grease off it, what happens is it's going to mix with the flits, and then the compound in the flits won't work as good because it's mixing with the grease, causing the compound of the flits to be lubricated, and we don't want that. And I'm not going to have the camera run the whole time I'm doing it. I'm just showing you little steps. And remember, it's not going to make a big difference in the trigger, but it might just take a little bit more of the edge off and help me shoot more accurately, more smoothly. All right. So all the grease is done. It's off of there. Now I'm going to get my flits. If you can get flits, get flits. You can get metal polish, but this is the best stuff. This is what this is for. Okay. So you just put a dab on your finger. And this is what's great about Glocks. I mean, you could do this to Glocks, and it's harder to do this to other guns because they're more complicated to take apart. So I'm just going to put a light coating on all around it. Don't overdo it, just a light coating. Especially the parts that have the most rub marks on them. They're the parts you want to polish. You don't want to over polish. You don't want to round things off too much because you don't want to mess up your trigger reset. And I'll polish that cross up. Something on that cross. Just like that. Wipe it on my pants. And there it is. It's all coated. Alright, now I'm going to start with my, got all my parts up there, nothing's in the way. Here's the ghost connector, which I need another one. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and every fucking day it's not coming. Where is my ghost connector? Are you kidding me? Jesus. I ordered one. Okay, I'm going to put some flits on this too. I know I haven't made a video in a couple days. You know why? Because I'm losing my ambition. I'm being robbed every time I make a video, this company makes money off me and they don't pay me. And I'm sure you'll be hearing about that forever. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Dremel going. I'm going to put it just like that. I don't want real high RPMs. Very lightly. I'm just going to start polishing it. And what's good about the bullet-shaped buffer, it gets in all the corners. And you could also do it by hand. You don't have to use a Dremel, but I think for best results, the Dremel is going to do the best job. Your hands can't move like a Dremel. Now what I'm going to do in here, in this side here, I'm not pushing real hard. I'm just very lightly buffing it up. Okay, I'm done polishing the trigger bar. You can see it's all nice and shiny and buffed all the way around, the cross, everything. Okay, and my 3.5 ghost connector, I polished that also. I see guys polishing this part. Why are you doing that? That just plugs in. There's no reason to polish that. But okay. So now what I'm going to do is put this back together. The first thing you do is get the housing with the spring. Okay. And you want to put the ghost connector in first, which that goes in here like this. And push it in nice and tight, like that. And the next thing you want to do is put this this pain in the ass thing, the spring, back on the trigger assembly. Pain in the ass, you know, but it's not hard. It's one of those things once you get to do it a lot, you'll get a rhythm and you'll know just what to do to get it on quick. This is only like the second time I've done this, so I don't have a system yet. Pain in the ass. On the Gen 4's, this part's a little different. It looks a little different in this spot. It's not a big deal. Okay, come on, get on there. Okay, that's on there, like that. Okay. Now, putting this in is just a little finagling. Make sure your string is perfectly straight. And what you do is you weave it in, you pull that cross in like that, and just like that. Okay, now I'm going to drop it into the frame. Alright, this will just drop right in here. So I'm doing something goofy. Alright, here's my trigger. And it just snaps pretty much right in. Alright. And like I said, it's not a lot of trouble. It'll just help smooth things out a little bit. Now I'm going to check my spring before I put it away. Make sure that spring is right under that cross, straight, or that could cause trigger reset problems. Alright, the next thing that's going to go in is this, I'm going to call it the, I don't know what it's called, I'm going to call it the guide rail housing, because that's what it is. It's part of the guide rail. It's for support of the slide. It's going to wipe the grease off it and plug it right back in here. It should just plug right in there like this. Kind of goes right in there. So far we put the trigger in, and we put the the guide rails back in, and so far so good. Now the next thing you want to put in is the pain in the ass. Well, we can put the ass end pin in, put that in now, because that'll hold the trigger from popping back out. And this is probably the easiest pin to put in. That goes in the rear. Push that in, and get my punch, center it, just like that. Almost perfect. Now I don't have to worry about that lifting out of there. Alright, now the next pin I'm going to pin in is the pain in the ass pin. That's the big one right here. And it's symmetrical, it doesn't matter which way you go in. I've seen guys do it like put it in halfway this way first. You know? I'm going to try it that way. And then put the slide stop in. Well, actually, put this pin in. Put this pin in next. It doesn't matter. You can put this pin in last, but you have to put this in next. For me, I like it because it creates that barrier for the spring to go under. You'll know what I mean. I know you don't. If you're new, you're like, what the fuck's he talking about? Just put this one in next. All right, this one goes in pretty easy. Okay, then we'll push it flush like that. Alright, now this one's in halfway a little bit. Let's back it out a little so we have room. What that does is when you put it in halfway like that, the trigger has a hole too. It has to line up, and that's just holding everything in the hole square, so you don't have to maneuver multiple things to line up. All you have to do is maneuver this to line up, which this is a pain in the balls. Okay, so I'm going to try to get it in there just right. There we go, I got lucky. Okay, that's in now. I'm going to push from this side till I hear a click. Okay, it's clicking. And now I'm just going to move this trigger back and forth like that and just make sure it works. I'm looking at my spring in here, making sure my spring is parallel with the cross, center of the cross, and it is. Sometimes that spring will go to this way or this way, and your trigger won't reset. That happened to me before. I mean, I didn't even touch nothing. There was just a problem when I first bought it. Not this, another Glock. Okay, so everything looks pretty good in there. Everything's nice and buffed and polished. That's pretty much it. I mean, some guys will polish this too, this little cam pin, which it's no problem to do. We can do that. It's real simple. We'll take out the recoil spring, this, and it's going to be a long video now. And then push this down, take off the back plate. Okay, and we'll pull out the striker assembly right there. And it's pretty clean for 1,300 rounds. Then another plunger here We'll take that plunger out. That holds in the extractor, so we'll take that plunger out. And that holds in this extractor right here. We'll take that out. Oh, sorry, I gotta push this in. This is holding it in too, so go push that out. All right, push that in. Pretty dirty too, I might as well clean that. And this, gotta watch, I think there's a spring under here too, you gotta watch, you don't lose. This will come out. Yeah, it's a little tiny spring. Man, it's pretty dirty, I wanna clean that. All right, but this, you should polish this too. They do, but now the slide is completely skeletonized. There's nothing in there. It's just, so I'm just going to clean it. I'm going to get this little pin cleaned up and polished. Then we're going to put this back in, and I'll be back. All right, I just polished up this firing pin safety block. That's what it is. And I'm just going to put it back in here. And at the same time, put in my extractor. And like that. Then put my plunger in like that, and put in my striker fire system pin, firing pin, like that. Then get my plate ready. Oh, I hate myself. Okay. Get my plate ready, put the plate in, push that down. Good. Pass the one pin. Now push the white one in. Pass the second one. Keep pushing, and click, click. Check my extractor, make sure it's under good spring tension and it's working. It's in the right direction, or it wouldn't have went in there. Check my firing pin, safety block, whatever the hell it is. And that's all together. See how easy it is to mess with Glocks? It's a joke. It's barrel, recoil spring, which has been great. Gen 4, it's been great. Now I'm ready to put it all back together, and I'm going to tell you if it feels any different. Okay. Okay. Reset. Here's the click. Pull. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yes sir indeed. Hold this trigger in. Let it out till it resets. Reset. Pull the trigger. Oh yeah. It feels like it took at least 3/4 of a pound off, if not maybe a pound off the trigger pull. Amazing. Very good. Now we're going to go to the range and shoot it. And what I should have did was shoot it first, then did the trigger job, then shoot again. But remember, with these kind of sights, these are self-defense sights. These aim for bullseye, so it's really going to be hard to tell if I'm shooting any better, because this big dot sight takes up the whole bullseye, so you can't pinpoint. These are, you know, like I said, self-defense sights. But hey, I feel like I got definitely better control of my trigger. Nice smooth trigger. Definitely, absolutely. All right, so it definitely works. I feel a huge difference, and I know Ron will be calling me in about 15 minutes after the video saying, can you do mine? Make sure everything's working, everything's locking back. Good. All right. All right, guys, hope this video helped you. I thought it was pretty cool, and that's it. Later.